Hello. Okay. All right. So my name is Masaru Tomita. I'm from Institute for Advanced Biosciences, Keio University. In the first half, I will talk about the Keio University and about Tsuruoka City, and also research projects at our institute and our venture companies and their businesses. In the second half, Deputy Director of our institute, Kazuharu Arakawa, will talk about the philosophy of the Science Park, and he will ask your answers, answer your questions. So let me start with a single slide describing our university. It pronounces like KO, and it's founded in 1858. In fact, Keio is the oldest university in Japan. And in fact, it is oldest university in Eastern Asia. And it has, this is a private university and a very big university, and 5 campuses and 10 faculties and 14 graduate students and more than 30,000 students. Kanetaka Maki-san is working for Waseda University, and Keio and Waseda are great rivals in sport and everything else. And it's just like a Cambridge and Oxford. And Keio produces a number of prime ministers, popular prime ministers like Koizumi and Hashimoto. And of course, Waseda produced a number of recent prime ministers, including Mori, and Kishida, who is the current prime minister, is Waseda graduate. This person is Yukichi Fukuzawa. He is the founder of Keio University, and Fukuzawa is very, very famous in Japan, not only because he founded Keio University, but also because he is on the very important document, which is this. This is a 10,000 yen bill. So every Japanese must respect him every day. So our campus, Tsuruoka campus, is located 500 kilometers north of Tokyo. So just 1 hour flight from Tokyo Haneda Airport. And all other Keio campuses are located in Greater Tokyo area.
1 hour by plane from Tokyo, Tsuruoka in Yamagata Prefecture is nature-rich and well-known as a trove of culinary ingredients. Among the rice paddies lies Tsuruoka Science Park, which contains an institute boasting the world's largest group of metabolome analyzers.
For 20 years, our cutting-edge research has combined IT and biotechnology. We strive to do something different from others, and many unique venture companies have sprung up as a result.
We develop practical applications for protein materials produced using the power of microbes without relying on fossil fuels or animals. Many like-minded people have joined us to contribute to the sustainable development of society. Tsuruoka is blessed with nature, history, food culture, and cutting-edge science and technology. This is a place where we can rediscover the happiness of life.
This is our synthetic spider silk.
Young scientists in their 20s found a way to realize a technology thought to be impossible. A revolutionary discovery made in regards to the serious global disease of depression. There is also a new technology being developed that detects cancer from very small saliva samples. All of these successes are based out of the Institute for Advanced Biosciences in Japan's Tsuruoka City. Using the world's most advanced methods of metabolome analysis the Institute works night and day to zero in on the mysteries of life. In addition, the Institute conducts research on local produce along with high school students, as well as a 25-year health study on 10,000 citizens in efforts to create new preventative medicine.
This is a fantastic environment for making great science.
Changing the future of the world.
Okay, so 20 years ago, we started with this small two-story building, and that's it. Everything else was just rice field. And then 5 years later, in 2006, City of Tsuruoka built the building for laboratory space. And then 2011, another building was built by the City of Tsuruoka. And then in 2013, Spiber company built the first plant, small plant. And then 2 years later, Spiber built 6 times bigger plant in 2015. And in 2018, this is a hotel called Sweden Terrace. It's a very, very nice hotel, and within the science park, and also indoor playground, Kids Dome Sorai is the name of this dome. So our research institute founded in 2001, and then since then, 7 venture companies started, and now the total is 550 jobs. If you include KO jobs, it's about 700, which is about 1% of this Tsuruoka city population. And many medias wrote about Tsuruoka Science Park. This is just 3-4 years, very recent. So let me first introduce very briefly, just 1-minute video about the first venture company, Human Metabolome Technologies.
A platform for metabolome analysis, which life scientists all over the world are taking notice of. Metabolome analysis technology will play a vital role in future-altering research. When it comes to the mechanisms of human life, even now that genetic information can be decoded, mysteries still remain. Substances related to an organism's metabolism are called metabolome. Humans possess several thousand types of functions still largely unknown. IAB got its start with the challenge of tackling these mysteries under the commission of Director General Professor Tomita. In 2001, Professor Soga developed a groundbreaking instrument that measures metabolomes.
The interesting point is that we can measure 1,000 metabolites inside the cell within 30 minutes.
The measured data is referenced against the world's largest database and immediately identifies metabolites. IAB's metabolome analysis technology will continue to lead the world in life science research. Biomarkers are measurable indicators that signal a possibility of being affected by certain diseases or health conditions. Attracting attention from around the globe for their discoveries in such biomarkers, Human Metabolome Technologies Incorporated, or HMT, is the first venture company launched by IAB Keio University. HMT has been searching for biomarkers by using metabolome analysis technology. HMT is currently in the spotlight for the development of their biomarker for identifying depression disorder patients. By comparing the blood metabolomic profiles of depression patients and healthy subjects, HMT successfully discovered a promising biomarker for identifying the disease, which is called phosphethanolamine, or PEA. The increasing number of depression patients is a major problem around the world. The advancement of this research will aid in making it possible for early detection and proper treatment of the disease, and thereby energizing the world.
Yes, so the HMT patented this PEA, this molecule, and which can be used for diagnosis of major depressive disorder. Next, let me briefly talk about SPIBA.
Throughout history, innovations in materials have pushed our civilization forward. We are inspired by the slender threads that spiders use to build their intricate webs. These silks are made up of proteins from an entirely biological process, yet they possess astonishing properties that vastly outperform man-made materials. They are just one example of the incredible variety of naturally occurring proteins, materials that have been refined and perfected through 3.8 billion years of evolution. Our team has extensively studied the diverse genetic designs found in nature. We've developed advanced methods to create new, tailor-made protein materials designed at the molecular level. For the first time in history, we are harnessing the power of evolution in order to create high-performance, sustainable, and exciting protein materials.
So protein materials can be produced by microbe fermentation. And then later on, the protein materials can be a fiber or sheet or gel, many form of protein materials. And 2 years ago, the North Face brand and SPIBA started to sell this outer jacket, Moon Parka. And this is a palette collection under the designer of Yuima Nakazato. And all these dresses are made of SPIBA material. So inside the SPIBA plant, it has many robots. This particular robot is DNA synthesizing robots. And this is many parallel small fermenters, and then large fermenters like this, and a spinning machine. So that in 2021, this March, 100 times bigger plant was built in Thailand. And then in 2023, 1,000 times bigger plant is expected to be built in Iowa, USA. So this is a website of UK in 2016, and this called Disrupt 100. They listed the most innovative startups, best 100, and the SPIBA is listed #1. Okay, so one more venture company, Salivatech, started in 2013.
A technique to detect cancer from only small saliva samples is evolving. In 2010, a group led by Project Associate Professor Masahiro Sugimoto, in collaboration with Professor David Wong at UCLA, developed a new technology that detects cancer from saliva. At first, it mainly targeted 3 types of cancer: oral, breast, and pancreatic. But when research continued to test for other cancers, surprising reports were found.
Our saliva test found gastric cancer, even though in some cases, tumor marker tests showed negative result.
This is one example case. A gastro camera showed a clean bill of health, but the saliva test identified cancer. It was hiding in the gastric lining. There have also been cases where blood tests showed normalcy, but the saliva test has found cancer. The highly precise saliva test. Further development may make it possible to prevent cancer.
Okay. And then Yamagata Design. This is not a bio venture. They built very nice hotel designed by Shigeru Ban, who won Pritzker Prize several years ago. And this is not ordinary hotel. This is very, very nice. We need a very nice hotel within the Tsuruoka Science Park. It has a hot spring and also sauna as well. Very good food. So remember, this hotel is built within the Tsuruoka Science Park. Okay, so let me finally talk about education. First,
Japan has a reputation as a high-tech nation, but it's finding it hard to draw young talent with fresh ideas to the fields of science and technology. One university has launched a project that hopes to change that. NHK World's Yutaro Horikawa reports.
Keio University's Institute for Advanced Biosciences. It's far from Tokyo, but it boasts state-of-the-art technology. 10 of the research assistants at this center are students from local high schools. Every day after school is over, Kano Umeki heads to the institute. Umeki has a deep interest in biology. To become a research assistant, she had to pass an exam and an interview. Currently, she's testing genetic materials in ears to see how they might affect life expectancy. If the findings can be applied to humans, this may help the development of regenerative medicine. Umeki works under Josephine Garipon, a researcher from France.
It's my role to find the job or field best suited to my assistants and to encourage them to make the most of their talents.
Umeki finds this research project and Garipon's guidance very stimulating.
At my high school, I would never be able to conduct experiments and receive instruction from teachers at this level. My world has expanded so much.
Masaru Tomita, the head of the institute, believes schools in Japan are too focused on test scores and do not foster creativity.
I think Japan needs to provide a world-class environment in which young people can pursue their interests and use their talents to achieve their full potential.
Okay, so nearly 300 high school students have been accepted so far. So the next video is the final video in my part, and this is about the policy of this institute and the science park.最先端な研究をやるには、若いフレッシュで馬力のある学生の力が必要ですし、真の教育のために最先端の研究が必要なんです。最先端の研究は答えを誰も知らないし、先生も知らないし、世界中誰も知らないことをみんなでやるわけですね。だから試行錯誤が必要だし、失敗することももちろんあります。この教科書の勉強っていうのは全部正解が書いてあるわけですし、先生も全部答え知ってるわけですよ。それしかやらないのでは、これは人は育たないですね。学生がエキサイトするような何か研究プロジェクトを学生が見つけて、それに没頭する。自分がやりたいことのために勉強することは本当に楽しいんですね。
君がやってる研究が大成功した時に、その世の中はどう変わるのかみたいな、社会にどうインパクトを与えるのかっていうのを聞かれるんですよ、絶対に。でそれはすごく考えさせられるじゃないですか。確かにこの研究っても何の意味に役に立つんだろうみたいな。でやりたいってことが見つかれば、それに対しても自由にこの環境を使っていいみたいな感じなんで。
高校とかまでの教育って基本的にはこれまでの先人たちが見つけてきた知識であったり定理であったり法則っていうのを、要はもう事実ですよね。分かっているファクトをとに学ぶ。サイエンスが何で面白いかっていうと、サイエンスはその要は先端なんですよね。まだその要は答えが出てないものを探しに行くっていうプロセス自体が非常に面白いと。
世の中見渡すとですね、やりたいこととやるべきことが一致してる人がいるんですね。自分ならではのことっていうのを思いっきりやるっていう経験がやっぱり人生に必要だと思うし、それのいいチャンスがやっぱり学生時代なんですよね。高校の延長みたいに勉強する学生時代を過ごすのは本当にもったいないですね。そういう意味ではですね、生命科学とか健康科学に興味がある人は、SFC およびの鶴岡に来たらですね、世界のどこよりもやりたいことをやれる場所ですね。SFC の場合は1年生からでも入れるし、で大学院生と一緒に大学1年生が研究をするんですね。確かに基礎がないと研究は達成できないけれども、でも基礎がなくても研究をスタートすることができるんですよね。研究をスタートして大学院生と一緒に最初は見よう見まねで始めて、そうすると何が必要で自分に何が足りないっていうのがもう明らかになってきますから、それを勉強する。僕はもともと学生時代とか高校時代生物が嫌いだったんですよ。それがこんな人という複雑なシステムにたった1ギガバイトで書かれている、どうなってんだっていうものすごい興味が湧いて、それでもう一回高校の生物の教科書とか大学1年生の生物の参考書を見るとものすごく面白いんですよ。
My manager actually proposed the plan that I could work and go back to school at the same time. Is located in Tsuruoka and it's actually right next to Spyber. So this science park campus just was a really good opportunity for me to do work and study at the same time. Everyone here is very poignant and passionate about their research, and that's what I like about it. It's very easy to talk to people about research and have new ideas. I think curiosity was a very important thing that everyone has, and that's pretty exciting.
学生がいるからこそ自分の責任を持って頑張れる。でみんなで結果的にみんなで頑張って、 何もないところで作っていこうぜっていうのが IUP ですね。
学問とか芸術とか研究開発とかそういうクリエイティブな仕事っていうのは大都会でやる必要ないんですよね。でやっぱり自然豊かで少しリラックスできるような環境でやる方がいい。みんなでいいアイデアを出そうっていう時にやっぱりその都会のビジネスホテルではダメだと。ああいうリラックスしたところで、みんなで、ワクワクしながらいろいろ話し合うっていうことが重要だ。慶応の鶴岡キャンパスやっぱり独特の雰囲気があると思いますね。それで、卒業生で起業した面白い人たちがいっぱいいるっていうのもそうだし、やっぱり一度しかない人生だったら何か記憶に、みんなの記憶に残ることをやりたいとかですね。こんなことできたら面白いんじゃないかって、すごいじゃないかっていうエキサイトメント、そういうものをもっと大切にする社会になるべきだと思いますし、そのためにはその教育もですね、みんなと同じことを地道にやれっていうことばっかりじゃなくて、少なくとも一握りの生徒はエキサイティングなことを知って、その成果を大学なり会社に買ってもらって、進路を決める。そういう人間が増えてくれると日本も面白くなる。はい、それではここから、Deputy Director, from now on, the second part will be talked up by Deputy Director Kazuharu Arakawa. Please.
Okay, so can you just turn off the sharing? Thank you. Okay, so I'd like to continue with the presentation, following up on some of the summaries and discussions about the actual success of our institute over the 20 years. So to give a short summary, so our institute, basically, so the research institute mission is to do a basic science and also the education. But another thing that we have in the center of our mission is the regional innovation as well. So for basic science, we have a lot of successful teams and groups in the institute, which really contributed to the foundation of many of our latest bio life science fields, including bioinformatics, system biology, and one of our strengths of the metabolomics. So our institute is the home to the International Symposium of the Metabolomics Society. And this society comes back to Tsuruoka to give a conference every 5 or 7 years. So it started out in Tsuruoka and it continues to come back to discuss the latest researches on the metabolomics in Tsuruoka. So it's becoming the center for this field of new sciences. We have a lot of top 10% to 1% papers, and we have one of the largest facility of the metabolomics, and we are accumulating one of the highest average grant per faculty member of all KO campuses. So the basic research really stands strong to give rise to many of these startups, as Professor Tomita talked about. And this is really the foundation of our institute. And with this basic science, we also extend a lot of education to many of the high school students, as Professor Tomita talked about. And we give a lot of programs for the local high schools, but also we perform a lot of large conferences for high school students, like the Bio Summit program, where all of the prominent high school students gather in Tsuruoka to give presentations. So Tsuruoka is now becoming a gateway for many of the students who are going into the field of life sciences. So I think we can safely say that almost all of the students, almost future biologists in Japan, would have experienced coming to Tsuruoka sometime in their early careers through this Bio Summit program or the Biology Olympics program, which selects the Japan candidates for the International Biology Olympics. We also accept many students for the recurrent programs from large enterprises to give them the cutting edge education and the cutting edge knowledge that they actually need to develop into new kind of programs when they face these new problems in the society. We also work a lot in the regional innovations. So as Professor Tomita mainly talked about, there are a lot of startups giving a lot of new employments in the area, but we also work on other issues, including the health-based innovations like 10,000 participant cohort study, which try to accumulate a lot of the disease-related information, which would be very useful for the next generations of the Tsuruoka city. So one of the key ideas behind this institute is to think that the regional place is actually advantageous compared to the urban environments. So calling something like regional development actually sees the rural areas a bit inferior in contrast to the urban areas. So we tend to like to think the other way around, that we are actually forming this new city in the Tsuruoka city because there are advantages which are not present in the urban areas. I think these are highlighted quite recently by the pandemic, that living in the dense urban areas tend to be very disadvantageous in terms of those pandemic times. And also, the famous Japanese traffic of the commuting trains is really a hassle to experiencing in the mornings. So it's much better to have no time for this commuting time and enjoy a lot of time in our private life, like the ocean around and the mountain around. So the Tsuruoka city is surrounded by the nice beach shore and 10-minute drive to the mountains. So we can experience a lot of the nature with beautiful rice paddy fields, which produce one of the best rice in the market in Japan. And also, this rice is a source for a lot of nice sake. So the sake wines produced in the Tsuruoka area is one of the best things in the Tsuruoka. And along with all of these culinary cultures are recognized by the UNESCO Creative City program as the City of Gastronomy, which is named in 2014 for Tsuruoka City. So this is the first city of gastronomy in Japan. So another thing is that led to the success of this institute, I think, is the determination of the local government. So in order for the local government to invite Keio University, they have to be really patient, which could take decades to grow into actual outcome of giving large industries and a lot of employment. So I think the first 10 years of this institute was successful, but not that much contributing to the employment of the city. But as the time grows, we already have quite a lot of startups, as Professor Tomita talked about. And now we are giving back to the city the real outcome, which is leading to new employments and other cultural helps to the city. So for the city to be determined and patient to wait for the actual innovation to happen was really important. And Tsuruoka City has had the culture for that kind of things. Like Tsuruoka is famous for the Shonai Domain Samurai School, which was one of the most prestigious in the Edo period of Japan. And they've changed to the silk industry very rapidly after the end of the feudal period of Edo period, and they really helped the city to transform into the industrial time in the Meiji period. And Tsuruoka is also the origin of the school mills in Japan. So they're really prepared to know the importance of education in transforming the city. So this is the 2-century-old map of the Shonai domain. So there is a castle in the middle, just like the European traditional downtowns. But the difference of the Japanese town to the European city is that the cities are surrounded by moats, not by city walls. So we build water canals to surround the city for protection. And so this is your aerial view of the Tsuruoka City main campus. So this is the Keio building, and you see there is a moat surrounding this place. I think this picture really shows the determination of the city that they put our institute in right middle of the central moat, which surrounds the castle center, which used to be here in this woods. So, so this really shows the determination of the city to have our institute in one of the most central place in the town, so that they are trying to live with Keio for the next 20 to 100 years for their development and regional revitalization. So this really starts to become pay off. So this is, sorry, the resources in Japanese, but it's one of the report by Yamagata Bank about the economic effects of the Tsuruoka Science Park. So it reports nearly 3 billion yen of economic effect is produced recently per year. And there are 84 million yen of tax return. So this is really starting to pay off to the city. Another thing that is very important is the determination of the university from the Keio perspective. So the Institute of Advanced Biosciences is set as a satellite campus of the Shonan Fujisawa campus. So many of the students that reside in Tsuruoka City belong to the Shonan Fujisawa campus Faculty of Environmental Information and Faculty of the Policy Management. And so they can earn full credits while staying in Tsuruoka, and they can move freely between the Shonan area and the Tsuruoka area. So this really allows the students to have a choice to come to Tsuruoka and if they want to. So the support of the university-wide support to have an institute and allow the students to freely travel and earn full credits while staying in Tsuruoka is really a help for the successful of the university and university students. And as probably you've seen from many of the videos, Professor Tomita has really endeavored to create an atmosphere which really grows a lot of the innovations in the campuses. So he tries to not reject anything outright. So any of the innovations, any new things that are happening, any breakthroughs are initially probably thought as a lie or a bogus ideas, but those should not be rejected because those are the ones actually that change the world. So many gradual things which probably make people think are possible is not a groundbreaking ideas. So groundbreaking ideas should not be rejected outright. And the Keio University has the idea of Hangaku Hankyo, which is learning while teaching and teaching while learning, because one of the frontiers of the sciences are always the combination of these processes. So there is no textbook in the frontiers. So you are writing the textbook and at the same time you're teaching about it. So there is no distinction between the youngs and the elders or the students and the professors or the learners or the teachers. So this is the key ideas to have a free and equal identity within the institute, regardless of their positions. And to have high ambitions to save the world and save the local community along the way is also very important. So if you aim low to save the local community or develop the local community, you can only go that far. But if you aim to save the whole world and save the community along the way, you can actually save a lot of other things as well. So aiming high and not rejecting any new ideas is one of the key atmosphere that are culture in the Institute of Advanced Biosciences. So to summarize, we've really worked hard with a lot of determination from the local government as well as the university to reverse the idea that the rural areas are inferior than the urban cities, but that there are much more opportunities and much more advantages to start a new institute and new city in the rural areas. And with that, I'm concluding this session, and I can take questions if you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So for the conference room side, please facilitate the Q&A, please.
Please, we have a question. I don't know whether.
Thank you for the presentation. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just wanted to clarify, you talked about moving between campuses. Was that between Tokyo campus and your other main campus, your other sister campus? Or is it just locally that there was a pathway and a corridor between them?
So the students entered the Shonan Fujisawa campus, which is not exactly Tokyo. It's in Kanagawa Prefecture, which is directly south of the Tokyo. So it's near Tokyo, the Tokyo urban areas. And they have the choice to move to Tsuruoka campus or take the courses online or on site in Tsuruoka. And they can freely move between the campuses because they can choose to take any full credits anywhere they're residing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Thanks for the very interesting presentation. My question actually is related to one part of your presentation, talking about urban and regional. So it's a very interesting concept when you see that the emphasis on the regional rather than the urban, and given the impact of the pandemic. Okay, here's my question is that actually the underpinning principle of thinking behind the development of the technology park and the connection with university, or is actually something emerging as a new way of thinking?
So we'd like to propose it as a new idea of thinking. So many of the parties have different ideas. I'm sure that Tsuruoka City really wanted to have a development first and not that kind of idea first. But as the directors of the institute, I think our determination is to reverse the idea.
Okay, thank you.